Nicole, good morning.
Hi Neil, how are you?
I know I'm good. I know you're renting in Blackpool.
What my problem is I've had 6 mouse infestations since January and where I'm living. And every time we had an issue, we sorted it, and then we had a huge mouse infestation in March, and I contacted the landlord, and my old landlord that actually got me the house came out to the house and looked around the house, and he said, look, there's nothing coming in. And I was like, and I showed him the pictures, we showed him the mice in the black bags that we were after finding. I was like, look, and he goes, no, I know, I do believe you. He's like, but there's no holes in the house that they're coming in. And I was like, right. And then it happened again in May, then it happened again in August, and then it happened again on last Thursday. It came to I said to Darren, it was about 12 o'clock, and I goes, we've a mouse again, I could hear him around. Then Friday, we saw another one. And then on Saturday, we could hear easily, like there was one in the kitchen, there was one behind the fire, and there was one in my bedroom.
You can hear them?
You can hear them. And in the bedroom, where we're living, in the bedroom, there's fitted in wardrobes, and they're in behind that because there was a little hole. I actually sent Brenda pictures. There's a hole, and that's where they're living. Like I often, like in May, I actually saw 2 or 3 come out of there at a go, no problem, as if they're just nesting there.
Do they freak you out, do they?
It's not like when I only had a 2-year-old there all day long. I know I'm only just after a baby, so that's a whole different ball game when you have a newborn baby in the house. And it's going on so long now, I can't put up with it anymore.
And it says here you've caught 12 mice. How'd you do that?
We caught just with traps ourselves, myself and my husband. We had multiple traps down, using everything between peanut butter, cheese, chocolate. Like anyone gave us advice. That's what we done. We caught them ourselves. And then, there was actually, in the time we had a really bad infestation, we actually caught 3 mice on 1 trap behind the cooker.
In the one trap?
In the one trap, and that's as God honest truth, Neil.
What's the trap? Describe it. What is it like? Is it
like a normal trap you buy in the shop, just a plain brown one? There was nothing like, there's just normal traps that you buy anywhere.
So 3 of them were trying to feed off the piece of chocolate or cheese, and the trap snapped down on 3 of them. Yeah.
See what we used to do, we'd set it up, and then because we're never at home anyway over that reason.
I never heard of that before.
Oh, I swear it was so bad, like really bad. And then when that kind of ended, we knew that we didn't have any more after that. Then it happened in May, we caught 5 more in May, and then August again. And I'm trying to get out of this house since March, since the landlord came out. I was rolling crying in his face. I was like, please get me a different accommodation. I was like, I can't live here, because the mice wasn't my only problem in the house, and he knew that. And then when Brenda emailed the company, and they said Alexia, and they didn't, I don't know if you read the email now that they gave back.
It's very long. They said they assigned it to a professional pest company, and they attended your house.
And they did. They came on Monday, Neil, and the man came out, and one of the agents from the property the people that we rent the property off, came with him as well. And he said, look, he came in the door and he was like, where's the mice? I was like, I can tell you where I saw them. I said, but I don't know where they are. Said they're around my house. We told him where we saw the mice, and the pest control fella had a good look around the house, and he was like, yeah, you definitely have mice in the house. He said, and he asked us, he goes, did you catch any? I said, no. I goes, out of all the infestations we're after having out, I said, these mice are extremely clever. I've seen them. I know how big they are. Some of them are bigger, and some are really small. He was like, right. He goes, so it looks like you kind of have a family, really. And he looked in behind the cooker, and he was like, yeah, you definitely have them in there. But Neil, in March, right, when the landlord came out, your kickboard underneath your fitted-in kitchen?
Yeah.
So that was taken out. And I said to him, I goes, you can hear them in there, because I had a load of droppings in where, you keep your clean and stuff under the sink. I took all that out, and there was hundreds, a load of droppings. And I was like, that's where they must be, their nest. So I had one nest under the sink, and I had another nest upstairs in my bathroom, or in my bedroom behind the wardrobe. So when my landlord, he took out the kickboard, and he took one of my sweetening brushes, and he brushed out, and I'm not exaggerating, there were thousands of mouse droppings. And he was like, whoa. I was like, am I exaggerating? No. He was like, look, all we can do is put down mouse traps and try catch them, and we'll see if there's any holes in the house.
Traps are useless. They're no good.
They are, Neil. And then when this happened Monday, a man said to me, oh, you have 3 holes in the house. I goes, what? He goes, yeah, you have 3 holes in your house. And I said, right. I goes, I was never told this. I goes, and when they were out, I goes, my landlord after been out twice to the house, I goes, he never told me that there was any holes. And Brenda will tell you herself, I sent Brenda a picture of a hole that was behind my cooker.
Yeah, I have those. I don't really think it would make any difference because mice will just get in wherever they want to get in. They want to be warm. Is the house? Do you mind me asking? Is the house clean?
Spotless. And that's what the pest control said to me on Monday when he came out. He goes, first of all, anyway, he said your house is absolutely gleaming. He said, so that wouldn't be an issue. I goes, I know that. I go, sure.
But the three entry points that were identified for you were closed off, and the pest control company will go back again on Friday to progress. I mean, I have to say, I think Powell Properties have done an awful lot more than a lot of rental companies would do, and a lot of landlords. Some of them would do nothing at all. They understand the stress of the situation it's causing, and they're currently looking to see if there's more something to do about correspondence between you and them. Health and safety of our tenants is always a priority. We genuinely feel for Nicole. No, she's gone through. The contractors are due to return. Is it this Friday, tomorrow?
Yeah, but see now, with what's after happening now is the main hole where the mice were. He put poison in it, and there was a mouse in there. Like that's where he put the poison. So I'm guessing if you put the poison in where the hole was, the mouse are dead if they're in there, and they're after locking it in. So now the pest control can't.
Okay, well, just before I get to that, you only had a baby 5 weeks ago. You also have a 2-year-old, and on Saturday you went up to the baby's crib, and what did you find?
We went up to check on the baby. One was in her own room, one was in the crib in my room, and when I went in, I could see something dark in the middle of the crib, halfway down her blanket, and I said, in the name of God, what's that? And when I went in, I went to turn on the light in our bedroom, the main light, and it just jumped straight out of the crib or straight under the bed into the back of the wardrobe. That was
a mouse that jumped out of the crib then?
A mouse. It was a mouse, yeah.
And did I read somewhere yesterday that there was a mouse eating the top of the baby's bottle, is it?
Yeah. That's where it was. I had the bottle inside it. Like, she was only after drinking 2 ounces of the bottle and it was in the crib, and that's what he was at.
That must be very upsetting for you as a mother.
Usually, Neil, and especially because I reported it at the end of May when we had an issue because they were mingling, they were kind of eating the lino. So anywhere that they were eating the lino, I was cutting the piece of lino off. If that makes sense. Like the piece that was hanging that they were after being bitten off, I would just cut it with a scissors because I knew I was like, they're after being at that now, and the child is walking home with her shoes on, with no shoes on. She's only a baby, like so, and I was told that an officer would get onto me. No one got back onto me, and the reason why that I got onto my landlord each time I had an issue is because I had already an issues with Powell Property already, because I reported severe dampness between November and January, and it took them every time I was emailing them, they were saying, "Oh, just open your windows, make sure you're airing out the house and all this."
Like, do you have showers and baths with all the windows closed?
Oh no! Every single morning I get up, every window's open in my house.
Okay, all right. Well, that's another. Like, traps won't work. I mean, I hate having to say this for people who are, who love all creatures, including mice and rats. But the only thing that will work really is some kind of a bait system. Sometimes you get little trays, tiny little trays, and the mice or a mouse will take a piece of the bait from the tray, bring it back to the nest. Everyone will eat it in the nest and they'll all die. That's the only way you'll get rid of mice. Traps are useless. And those things you plug in the wall that give out these high-pitched things.
They put down traps and they put no bait on it, but he said, look, this is the way. But he's a professional, so I was like, look, all right. I go, what you're telling me.
The professionals put down traps?
Yeah, they put down traps, but they're useless. In a box.
But you can get humane traps where they can be...
So the mouse goes through them, and then they don't realise there's a trap in there.
But they don't die?
No, because he told me, he goes, would you mind throwing out a mouse if you caught one? I said, it won't bother me. I throw plenty of them already, so...
Yeah, I mean, I know you can get humane traps that capture the mouse, and in some cases the rat, and then you can free them somewhere else, like out the country or something. Other people just want them dead, and they poison them. But the only way that you'll poison, the only way you'll get rid of mice is with some kind of bait that they bring back to the nest. They eat it and they die, and you'll have no more mice. And you leave these little traps down all of the time. There's one particular.
And we do we have traps down constantly. We never
not traps. No, I'm talking about little trays. They're
trays. Okay, yeah.
And they last. You can buy them in hardware shop. You can buy them online. And each one you put down lasts 3 months. After 3 months, you replace. You will never ever have another mouse.
And I never heard of that. No, out of all the advice I'm after getting.
Okay, I'll try and find the name of it between now and midday. But just hold on there a second. Owen, good morning.
Good morning, Neil.
Are you in the business?
I am indeed. We have a family-run business here in Cork, Pest Attack.
Okay, am I right? Am I wrong? Am I talking through my backside or what?
A bit of both, Neil. A bit of both. So, as regards to trapping, trapping systems do work. They can work, and they can work very effectively. We've actually been trained up recently in trapping systems. Simple reason is because the escars that we're using at the moment, second generation anticoagulants, they're actually proving to be very harmful to the environment. So we try and use poison systems as little as possible.
All right.
What you're trying to do is eliminate the reasons why they're getting into the house, how they're getting into the house, where they're staying in the house, and you target those. You target those areas with traps. No, it sounds like to me, I could probably guess who has dealt with the issue. It doesn't sound like it's being dealt with very professionally. No. What you need to do is you need to figure out where they're getting in. You put down your trapping system or poison, depending on the situation. It would have to be looked at. You know, you'd have to do a site inspection. You'd have to walk around the property, figure out where they're getting in. Once the trapping system is put down, if that fails, you run with a poison system.
What is the trapping system you refer to? Is that the guillotine that just comes down and traps them?
Yeah, no, we wouldn't use those ourselves, but for mice with a regular household, they do the job. No, you have to be quick with them. You can't leave a mouse in it for a couple of hours.
She has had loads of traps down. From March this year to May, they had loads of traps, caught 12 mice in them, and they're still around in August, September, October, November.
Yeah, chances are it wasn't dealt with professionally, and, you know, judging by the sound of the amount of them coming into the house or the amount of them she's actually catching in the traps, we would probably skip the trapping option and go straight for the baiting option. No, the only hassle with that is it sounds like she has kids in the house, so there would need to be a professional system put in. There's no problem there. You would have to take into account whether there's pets in the house, dogs, cats, anything like that.
Yeah, but if you put down the bait, the problem will be gone in a day or two. It's just gone.
Not necessarily a day or two. No, it can take up to about 2 weeks, depending on how many is there, whether there's a family there, whether there's a female that's pregnant there. You know, there's loads of different there's loads of different scenarios that could take any time from a day or two up to about 2 weeks. What can happen is rodents feed most dominant first. So if there's only a little bit of poison put down in the most dominant feeds, and he or she is after taking up all the poison, then there's nothing left for anybody else. So what you need to do is you need to be constantly reviewing the situation, and you need to be figuring out like what cycle they're on, whether they're producing young now, or whether it was 2 weeks ago, or whether it's going to be in 2 weeks.
But they do bring the poison bait back to the nest.
Yes, that is correct. That's why when we're using baiting systems, you have to use the right system. You have to use the most professional system you can find.
Well, will you do me a favour? Would you be able to look at Nicole's situation?
I would. There's no problem there. No problem.
And will you resolve it for her? Sort it out?
I will. There be absolutely no problem. No, the other side of it is she may need property maintenance to nip this in the bud. We might be able to sort it, but whether or not it will come back or not, these holes in the house, they need to be sorted, and they need to be sorted the right way. A lot of people can use things like expanding foam to fill holes. That's not right. Can I just butt in there? We actually had a hole underneath the sink that me and my husband filled in ourselves. We actually Googled it, and it said, if I fill a hole with that foam that man is on about. No. And when the man came out on Monday, he goes, that is no good. He goes, look at it. He goes, they're after eating straight through the hole. He was like, that. He goes, that's like water to them. They go straight through it. And then the huge hole that we did have under the cooker, that's what was filled with yesterday. That's what they filled the hole with yesterday. That expanding foam is actually very good insulation, and what they're doing with it is they're taking it back to use for nesting.
Yeah, the mice have a reason. The mice have a use for it.
They do, and most rodents do, really, to be honest.
Did you ever hear of a mouse being inside in the crib with a small little baby trying to get into the baby's bottle?
Maybe not the bottle, no, but if there's food crumbs or anything left behind, and that's no fault of anyone's. That's just the baby in a pram having food.
But come here, mice are harmless, right? Or are they? Are they a hazard?
They're a health and safety hazard. They carry disease, and they're not good when there's food preparation or kids around, or a school or anything like that. They need to be dealt with, and they need to be dealt with professionally.
Okay, so you'll pop out there and have a look from your company's Pest Attack, isn't it?
Pest Attack Limited in Cork, yeah. Pest Attack Limited in Cork, yeah. Pest Attack.